thing I know about NRG is that Palafox Ari build was a complete statement. He wanted to go home. I don't know about the other games, but that game he wanted to lose. I don't know why, but I thought he like enemy Vigar build Shirelias.
Welcome to another episode of Pros, where we're already talking about the game that you two just played. I'm joined by Bwipo, Inspired, and Dhokla. Thank you all three for joining me. I think we are going to start with the game, the series that you guys just played.
I was more curious to hear what happened to NRG.
We'll get there.
Let's start with that.
Yeah,
what was your take on the C9 series? Going into it, before the match, what did you guys think was going to happen?
I don't know. Like before the match, I thought Fudge was like NPC player, so he would like not lose his team the game, but he will never win it. So as long as I can get matchups where I feel like I skill better than him, I'll always outperform him. I tested his theory in game one, continued to be true throughout the game. So.
Yeah. What do you think, Inspired?
I mean, I don't want to reveal too much because we might still play them. But I feel like their approach was not too good to the series, and I was hoping they're gonna pick what they picked.
Yeah. I mean, Bwipo, you blinded all three games. So what did you think about that? You think?
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was like best. Like this is like the most average scaling. I knew I was going to be useful. If you wanted to counter pick me and like go crazy, that's fine. If you pick something that's like a little bit more like scaling, less laning, then I feel like I would have more opportunities topside. But I was pretty happy just playing my champions, just chilling.
He was losing his mind backstage in the, what was it, Gragas or Nectin matchup?
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like you guys were both like level 9, you had Catalyst, Boots, and then like, you guys are just trading for like no reason. Like no one's losing HP. So I'm like, you know, I guess you get a grass stack, honestly.
I mean, the thing is like, no, I was playing the opposite side there. He had no mana flow, and he went cooldown shoes into Catalyst, so I think his damage is like too low. So you can actually run him eventually, I think. And I was trying to make him take a bad base, and he just kept like hitting me, so I was just kind of ignoring him. But like, I didn't really have any, like honestly, I was just like kind of trading him, hoping maybe Sejuani will like show. What was Sejuani? What was the jungler game on?
Vi.
Oh yeah, I was just hoping Vi would like show up, and maybe I'd like burn my flash, but she would ult me, like that type of situation.
They did like vaguely look top.
So I was like trying to get info because I feel like we were kind of.
No one could really open up that game. Like I couldn't be the one making first play. Same for mid and bot. So if they would like put some pressure into top, it would be easier for us to play, but they didn't do it.
I was looking for that, but Vi never actually pulled the trigger, and if I went too hard, I would actually die. So I was just trying to bait them into trying. Yeah. And once Vi ult would be down, I feel like it would be really good for the map, but they were smart enough not to ult me, so.
One thing, I was gonna say, one thing that really surprised me, especially in game one, it kind of became less true, I guess, as the game went on, but they left a lot of openings bot side despite having a pretty early bot side lead that you guys were able to capitalize on. I'm specifically thinking of first Drake, I think, in game one.
Sure. It was like off dead tempo pretty much.
So how surprised were you at their overall like map play in the series?
Yeah, I mean, I think they didn't prioritize the Drakes well enough. I think they kind of didn't play with tempo towards Drakes and just like sneak one Drake, and then the other one with 50-50, I think we got it. The third one as well was like pre-flip, and it happened, we got the soul, so pretty chill.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like when you're prioritizing grubs this much, like your top laner needs to actually like kind of pressure a bit.
Yeah.
And like I said, he plays a bit like NPC, where it's like, if you pressured him, like, and it's not like obvious that he's winning, he will like just concede. So for me, I was just always, I don't know, I just played the same way, and whenever he thought I had someone behind me, I could feel it immediately, you know? And I think that's like made it really easy for me to play. I don't think he's a bad player when he's playing in matchups that he's well practiced in, but like I said, when he doesn't have like the confidence and knows exactly what he's doing, it's like really obvious he's like just trying not to lose.
Do you agree with this assessment? Because you've also leaned against Fudge.
Yeah, I feel like I play against him quite a bit, but yeah, I guess you could bluff him relatively easy.
Oh, super easy.
Because he respects like maybe too much. Like sometimes like you can maybe like have a close 1v2 or something, but he'll generally play safe.
Yeah, usually you just don't gank that guy.
Yeah.
Fudge doesn't die to ganks.
Yeah.
True.
Which is a strength in and of itself. Yeah.
I don't know about that. Like I said, the series, like he gave me 2 tier 1s just because I walked up to it. Like I literally walked up to it. He didn't like he was like so scared of me. Like in review, I swear, like if his coaches don't tear into him for that, then it's coaching staff problem. But like, wow, he was vegan. Crazy.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. What has surprised? So like bring it back to playoffs. Obviously, I think C9 is a major topic because of expectations versus reality, regardless of like how that reality has gone on for a while now with the are they back, they're not back, they're so back, etc. What has surprised you each the most about playoffs overall?
Us losing, that's a big surprise.
Yeah, Bwipo wanted to go in. Here's like what happened to NRG.
The only thing I know about NRG is that Palafox Ari build was a complete statement. He wanted to go home. I don't know about the other games, but that game he wanted to lose. I don't know why, but I thought he like enemy Vigar built Shurelias, and he's told him like, if that guy can buy Shurelias and win, I can buy Shurelias and win too. That's like, I fundamentally believe that went through his mind.
Because Ari is not mobile enough. Like, you kind of need some movement.
That was a complete statement. Like, that was pure ego. I cannot change my mind about that. He went Spellbook, Mercs, Shurelia, Seeker's Armguard, Verdant Veil. Like, I could not find a worse build if I tried.
I would not be able to focus if I press tab.
Same. Honestly, I don't know. Did you guys pick Ari again after that? Because if you did, then like...
I don't even remember. I just remember I was playing like Cassante like almost all the time. And
yeah, it makes sense.
That was about it.
I mean, other than that, I'd say like the biggest surprise for me is that like I said, I feel like JoJo and Berserker could have pulled more weight. That's like the biggest surprise. I thought they would be bigger threats.
I mean, JoJo, so first of all, he didn't get any kills today. Like, obviously, we joked around about Jensen getting deathless. JoJo got no kills. I mean, you called him an NPC in one of the reviews, but like that's just
no, JoJo NPC. No, did I say that?
Yeah, we were killing him and screaming, "Kill this NPC! Kill this NPC!"
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like to me, like people were flaming APA for our series. Now they're flaming JoJo. I think we are just good at like abusing players that want to play the game, and I feel like when APA was playing, in my opinion, his teammates were just not playing well around him and not helping him. And today I feel like JoJo was trying to win the game, but his teammates were not trying to win the game with him. And it looks like he's inting. And people are gonna...
I've been a victim of this.
People said that APA was inting, now they say JoJo's inting. In my opinion, I'm just seeing plays and I'm going to kill an enemy mid laner that is trying to play the game. If an enemy team don't help him, then he will die.
Yeah.
And that's how it feels when I'm playing. Like I see someone, and today I just seen the game, like enemy are very disconnected. Like JoJo's pushing bot wave, Vulcan gave him vision, started running mid, and then someone hits the Drake. That's how you come back to game 3. Like, I don't know. To me, it seems like people are not on the same page. And that's what I was always making sure that I am on the same page with JoJo when I was playing with him. Like, I would never let him have a bad game. I would always be with him and like tell him when he can pressure and when he shouldn't be pressuring. While right now, he seems like he just does what's best for him. And if his team is not there, he will just die.
Well, what advice would you give him now?
Oh, no advice.
No.
I can give advice.
I mean,
I was gonna say, did your knowledge of that affect? Because like you were mid a lot. I don't think it's necessarily because oh my gosh you're in JoJo's head, but obviously C9 perform really well when JoJo does well, right? So like you said, you're finding openings. Did your prior experience with him help?
I think not really. I think mid laners are just the easiest to cut because their champs are just like squishy. Top laners are hard to catch most of the time, and mid laners that are playing like as he played Yon, Talia, APA played Ziggs, like those champs are really easy to catch inside lane. So I feel like it's just the easiest to make mid laners fall behind, and if mid laner is behind, he's kind of not the champion. I feel like so. Yeah, I'm just looking what's the easiest to do on the map, and usually the easiest thing is to just catch mid laners on side lane.
Nice.
That easy.
Yeah.
What surprised you about playoffs?
I mean, I already mentioned, but
NRG, NRG.
I mean, but also, like I said, like JoJo and Thingy, I thought they would level up, but so far they haven't found it. Obviously, they still have one more week to get it together.
I still think they're a scary team. Like, if we play them again, surely we don't 3-0 them like that easily again, like, right? Like, surely they will change something.
Surely.
Today, I expected it's going to be a really hard series, but it wasn't like that. So we'll see what they will cook for the next week.
What do you guys think of next week's matchup against C9 and TL? Like, what do you think is going to happen there?
I mean, I don't know. I think C9 have the potential to like win lane and then play a fast game, and they will just like kind of TL will kind of feed. I think if they like play too fast into like strong lanes from C9, but I don't know. Berserker was not him today. Absolutely not.
Yeah. I mean, their games are very bloodied recently, so. I don't know if that meta will like evolve into like whatever happened with you guys in TL. But
I'm not sure. I just didn't feel anything from enemy JoJo. Like JoJo and Berserker normally, like I think individually really strong players that play teamfight very well. Today, I felt nothing.
I mean, to me, I think TL has way different playstyle because TL likes to fight a lot right now. I feel like they fight, even if they lose fight, they will just spawn with tempo and run the other side and force another fight. And if they win like back-to-back fights, the game is kind of over against them. I feel like they will just keep snowballing and they will win.
Yep.
But against C9, I don't know if they will get that many opportunities because I think APA is gonna get stomped by JoJo. I think bot lane is also weaker. I think Berserker, even though it was not him today, I still think he's gonna be having pressure in the bot side. So I feel like if Blabber and Fudge just do their job and be solid in the game, I think Cloud9 should win. But if the games become very chaotic and I don't know, JoJo gets caught one time, I can see him get caught another time and another time and another time.
Just like today.
And just run it down.
Yeah, I was gonna say just
So
like today.
I can see the game becoming very chaotic and they will just abuse the inters and TL win. But I don't know. We'll see. Today, our games are very slow and I don't think Team Liquid will let it happen. I feel like they will be fighting way more than we did today. We're kind of happy just by farming and then executing our team comps. While I think Team Liquid, even when they have scaling comps, they are still fighting you. They fight for everything.
It's kind of weird though because they were the slowest team in the world at one point. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. They, like, on stage in, like, early LCS, of all major regions at least, they had the least combined kills per minute of any team. So one thing I want to ask all three of you is, like, looking at TL holistically as a team, what happened in playoffs? Like, was this something you guys were seeing in scrims?
I feel like they just started playing more for tempo in, like, super jungle. Like, they are grouping a lot. And just running deep into your jungle. And if you camp on vision, they might face check you and suicide. If you are not there, they will take over your jungle. And then if you face check them, you will just suicide. So they play very fast and you have to like predict what they are doing. And then I think you might just get lead just by farming because they are grouping a lot and trying to force fights. And what's changed? I don't know why they started doing that. I just feel like if they play ASOL Smolder, they just farm a bit. But if they pick anything else, they are just looking perma to fight. Like for JJ is picking Rare or Nautilus and just clicking forward and not stopping until he sees someone.
I was gonna say, you're having flashbacks to Cordelia just like camping your lane.
I mean, yeah, but that was like we knew that was happening.
Yeah, if you don't fight them bot, he'll just base and run top and fight. If you fight them bot, they will just all come bot and fight you.
Yeah.
That's how they play, I feel like.
Do you have a timer on Umti where it's like, oh, it's like 3 minutes, 3:30, he's gonna be in my jungle somewhere?
He's trying sometimes. He's trying. When we played against him, I think he didn't really invade that much because I think he didn't have like super good matchups to do that. But they're playing in scrims against them. I feel like if they have a strong lane or like Prio in some lane, they will just come and try fighting you. But it's playable because I think they're not that good mechanically. So if you actually fight them, I feel like either APA or Yon or even Umti, someone will just run down. And if you play aggressive and you are not good enough mechanically to like execute it, and you make a mistake, you fall really far behind. It's like, it's way different, I think, if you walk into enemy jungle and you die there, then your game is lost. If you like full cleared and then you die, it's not that big of a death because you just spawn and farm again. But if you actually commit to drop your tempo in order to make a play and you fail, that's what happens quite often with them, I feel like, then you actually fall behind and it's kind of hard to fight again.
Okay.
I guess a question for me looking into next week, there's only 3 teams left. I guess you guys still have your academy team to scrim against. So like, how is this next week of like practice gonna shape out? Like, how do you stay like, you know, just sharp given like?
I don't know.
I'm just playing off-road in solo queue, perma kill and kill.
Yeah, I'm just playing like whatever's new. I mean, I really feel like this is like the number one thing that I feel different playing in Europe and playing in NA is like, if I try to make the game too spicy, it's like never good. Like I've always regretted this playing a spicy game in NA. Like a spicy game where I can 1v2 them, that's fine. Like they gank me and I just don't kill them.
That's true. Like at the beginning of the split, I felt like my AD and mid are so vegan. Like they really didn't want us to fight. Like me and Bwipo were fighting, and then in the review we would be like, "Oh, why are you guys fighting here?" And then we go deep into review and we're like, "But why are you not basing here for tempo and fighting with us?" Like, and I feel like we came to the point where actually we are good at abusing like that. If enemy put too much resources to kill someone, we'll do some other play and like play somewhere else. So I think right now we are trying to play more aggressive than we were at the beginning of the season because it just our teammates are kind of getting used to it. So yeah, I think that's what's changed.
I think it's really important for me and Inspired to be like very consistent as players. Because like for example today our bot lane had some difficulties.
Scaling going on.
Yeah, some difficulties, some oopsies, and like I think that us being like just strong in the game and ready to participate and you know make up the difference in the gold lead is like really meaningful for them. And I think it gives them also like the security to play their own game and kind of grow as individuals. So that's why I feel like playing too spicy is not good for me. because I feel like when I fall behind, it will be difficult for them to pick up the slack compared to the other way around. And I want to just make sure I do that. So I think that's like the number one thing I've changed over the time that I've been playing. As it comes to TL, I actually think in scrims they were always this fast. But like they were this fast, like they were always like just fight you to the death. But like on stage, if they didn't have 5 people on their screen of their own teammates, then they would just vegan out. You know, like they would just run away. Like they would not fight. They would
I feel like on TL, like a lot, it happens a lot where APA is like pushing a side lane and the rest of the team just fights. Like I think it happened in their, might be the regular season, but I remember
I think they're much better about it now. I think they always did that in scrims. They couldn't translate it to stage. I remember they talked about it in one of the pros actually, podcast. I think now they've just found the solution, which is like let's just do it as 5 together, and that way we can not.
That's true.
Be
At the
very
beginning, they
scared
were a bit scared. I could
on
feel
stage
it.
they didn't want to play.
Now they feel like if you want to fight them, they'll just fight you and see what happens. It seems like they kind of don't care if they lose or win. They just fight.
100%.
Which is nice. I think if you have that mindset, you will win more games rather than like be scared to not lose the game.
I feel the same way right now playing. Like today when I bullet flashed Alistar, missed the own, and then died like a complete dog. I was like, we got aced, and I was like, at least we tried. You know?
Oh yeah, I was actually wondering like, what happened that fight? Like, they got a triple kill. I'm like, I looked back and I'm like,
I like screamed like, oh, I ran it down, run, and then people were like, no, like, and then like confusion, and like people were like trying to play the game still, and obviously we aced. So well, if your top laner flashes in, like I told you, like specialist champs are kind of OP, but if he flashes into 5 people, dies, does not actually hit any CC on any important target, and gets completely one shot for 0. You might lose that fight.
It's gonna be rough.
Did any of you believe in 100 Thieves at all?
No.
This is just like the final 100 Thieves
it was 1-1,
post-mortem.
game 3, Kai'Sa gets complete super fed, and I'm like, okay, I can play Kai'Sa and I will carry this game. And I was like, wow, guys, if 100 Thieves wins, like even if we lose somehow to C9, we have 3 Messiah, like there's no way we lose to 100 Thieves. And then they like 5k gold lead and like turbo fed Kai'Sa manages to lose fight into fight into fight into fight. I couldn't focus watching it. So I mean that's how I expected 100 Thieves to play. I thought they are just bad and
I mean no offense when I say this, and I honestly I like Sniper a lot. He's a really funny kid. He tries really hard. He's great. But
here come the comments.
This guy, like, he cannot play anything outside of like matchups where he is just stronger and he just hands checks you and you agree to do that. So I think when Impact got solo kill twice, it's because he tried to hands check him and just try to win lane. I think if you just concede, he will not do what he needs to do on the map, which makes sense. He's a rookie, he's young, but wow, that fed on Renekton, that useless. It takes skill.
I know you've talked about this before, but like, and I'll ask this to both of you, like what advice would you give Sniper going forward?
I mean, since he's out already, like, I think he should really spend some effort trying to understand what his responsibility is in the game.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a problem of most American players. Like, same for Masu. Like, I think his biggest problem is that he doesn't know what he's supposed to do in the game. He just knows how to play out his lane and how to fight enemy opponent in bot lane, but he doesn't know when he should be fighting, why he should be fighting, and what his job is going into the like mid-late game. And I think that's the problem of most of the players in the lane. I feel like they are just focused on lane to like improve their mechanics in lane, and then after lane, I feel like even if you are behind, you can still beat every team because they are just not playing together. They don't know what they're supposed to do. Someone will go farm side lane and give up position on like objective. Sometimes they will like overgroup because they don't know what to do. So I feel like people need to start thinking what their job is actually in the game rather than focus on their pure laning phase.
I mean, obviously, you both have brought up a lot of players. I'm going to get to you because you are a native NA player, the only one on this show. But in terms of, because obviously, we talk a lot about solo queue here versus solo queue in other regions, right? And like what that actually means. And what it means, from my opinion, you guys can disagree with me, like feel free to disagree, but it means that like coming out of solo queue, you are going to just know less as a player.
Yeah,
like playing on Korean solo queue, like constantly. So like if we accept that that is the case, right? Then what bridge needs to be kind of crossed in order to get North American players to think about the game more holistically?
I think if you play NA solo queue, you can't count on your teammates. I think you just this is not a teamwork in NA solo queue. Like when you are playing the game in NA solo queue, I think that's why new players just play like they play, because you have to carry the game in NA solo queue. Like if you're a mid laner, you need to get fed and carry. If you're AD carry, you need to get fed and carry. When you are a jungler in NA solo queue, I don't know if people know this, but every NA jungler is just playing Graves and Kindred, farming off CD, and then they're level 18 and we're like, okay, now my time to carry. But you can't play like that in competitive. Like I feel like in Korea, if you are a jungler and you will fall 2 levels down, but you will make your teammate get ahead, these teammates will actually pull the weight and finish the game for you. While in NA, I feel like if you just decide to play for your team, they will like either throw the game, they will get too excited, they will not be good enough mechanically to end the game. And then people just have this feeling like, maybe next time I will not help my team, I will just play for my own lane, my own lead. And I think that's why then it looks like everyone is playing vegan. Because if everyone is playing for their lane, then everyone needs to play safe, everyone needs to respect the jungler, and no one can really like play over aggressive, and then I think you just play very slow game, and that's how LCS seems to me, and I think that comes from solo queue. Like new players as a sniper, I'm pretty sure he was like high in solo queue, he was beating everyone, and he's just focusing, okay, how do I carry the game? I kill enemy laner, and then after if that doesn't happen, he doesn't know what to do, and even if that happens, he doesn't know how to snowball his lead to help his team.
Yeah. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of went through something similar to Split. Like, I was just spamming so much solo queue, and then like I was playing the scrim champs on like Udyr, like Xante, Zach, and I'm like, I can do fine in my lane, I can win lane, and it comes to a certain point where it's just like, well, why am I just playing a tank when like I'm just gonna lose inevitably? So then I just started playing carry. So like I can just see that. Like I consciously made that decision. Like, all right, well, I'm just not gonna play these champs because I'm not really gaining any matchup practice anyway, so it's like, yeah, so I can see that happen in real time to me, yeah.
I mean, for me, when I play, I make sure that I understand the natural timers of the game. So what I mean by that is I always try to keep my tempo, and I don't play to abuse bad players. Or when I do, I consciously am like, I'm owning this guy because he's bad. This is not a natural timing, it's because I created it from owning him 1v1. And as a result, later in the game, I just keep tempo and I look at my minimap and I'm just like, okay, I'm supposed to own people right now, but I can't because we're in America. So I go back to farming. And then I keep waiting until it's my turn to own people. And then that's when I get the practice of actually getting to own people. And I don't think that like solo queue can restrict you if you are mindful of this and you are practicing with this in mind. And you're actually like telling yourself like, making sure you're getting useful practice out of it. Like queue up with a purpose, you know? Like if I queue up and I want to improve my mechanics on a certain matchup, I will do that, right? That's the goal I'm setting. If I'm trying to improve my, you know, like for example, I was spamming Rek'Sai, right? Like Rek'Sai, I don't know.
Rek'Sai top, yeah, I know.
Looks good. I don't know. I haven't played a competitive game. G2 spamming it. That guy can play whatever the fuck he wants and still win. So like, I'm not gonna say that.
They lost today playing Rek'Sai.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Hansan wants Smolder. I will not speak. I will not speak.
Honestly,
But,
I thought they were still like. I was a little scared that they were still gonna win that game, even after everything happened.
They had a karma irony.
It's all in on Smolder.
I mean, it was, yeah, but my point is like you should just isolate yourself and the timings you can create for your team, and then you should just set that as like, this is my timing to play the game. I think that's the hardest part for NA players to really grasp is when they are supposed to play the game and how hard they're supposed to go. I feel like there's so many players that on their timing are not going hard enough. And as a result, you're giving space that you are not supposed to be giving, and you're supposed to be fighting there on your timing. And because you didn't, your next timing when you're defending is so much harder because you don't have information from people crossing through that space.
I think my question is more, so like obviously you guys have all given like individual answers. My question is more like what can an organization do or like a team environment do to bridge that gap?
I don't know, like inspired, inspired playing the shit out of my teammates, and I find it so funny because he's like 100% true, but he's like really ruthless. And like honestly, like
I'm like telling Masu, why are you playing off-roll if you still didn't like learn wave management to perfection on your role?
Yeah.
I'm playing off-roll Perma because I feel like I can't improve anything in jungle playing any solo queue. So I'm not playing it. I'm just gonna play like mid lane and try to focus on my actual laning early game because I'm pretty bad at it. I never did that, so I'm gonna try to learn that aspect of the game. But Masu is playing off-roll. I'm like, Masu, you should go bot lane and like know when to recall, when you should stack waves. Look at your jungle, what he's doing, and play accordingly to that. Like know when you can actually move and when you should pressuring. And that's why how I'm like, low-key flaming him, but
No, yeah,
I hope he finally gets
no,
it and like starts
wanna
looking at the
clarify.
game.
I don't see it.
It's
Yeah, I
very
don't see
positive.
it
It's
as
extremely
flame, yeah.
positive. It's like so good. It's just like it's the consistency at which Inspired calls people out, and it's like the persistence. Like honestly, like I respect it so much because like I wish I could, but like I don't have I just don't have like the energy, you know. Like it's so hard to just constantly, and he is like so persistent in making sure that people in our team are playing the game well, and whenever someone like doesn't do enough, it's so easy to just be like, oh well, it's fine, you know, he'll fix it himself. Inspire doesn't let that slide, you know. Like if he didn't do enough, he will call him out in scrim, on stage. It doesn't matter. Like in review, he makes sure that everyone is playing the game well, and like during the game, it's like very easy to focus on the game because I don't have to feel like my teammates need like help because he's doing so much work. He's pulling so much weight. In the sense that like I don't have to like look at what Masu was doing or Jensen was doing or Busia was doing because I know my jungler is constantly looking at them. So I'm just tunnel visioning on like playing well individually, and it reminds me of something I heard from Suning in 2020. That Worlds, I heard from Bjergsen because obviously he was playing a Sword Art. Apparently, Bin and Huanfeng would not join team reviews or discussions or like any type of draft meeting, and they would just play solo queue because in their eyes it was like top and AD, just play good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just play good individually. And nothing else matters more than being strong individually. And like that to me is like right now I realize like holy, it's so true. Like when I can just focus on my own gameplay and I have to spend 0% effort trying to think if my teammates are playing good and I'm only playing well individually, I can do so much more as a top laner than if you are like a top laner trying to figure out why you don't have mid prio or why your teammate is not doing this or that and that. It's so hard because you're playing a different game as a top laner.
I'll say one thing. I think Ben might have not walked it back fully, but I do know one of the things he said he was constantly working on was like how to work better with his teammates while in BLG.
That's why he's not him anymore. I'm just saying that's why he's not him anymore because like he was totally him when he was just playing his own game. He was actually him. Like I that 2020 Worlds there was only one top laner I was actually scared of, and it was
Ben. Yeah.
Everyone else was like, I can play, but that guy, I was like.
Every top laner I've talked to was terrified of Ben. Then, Dhokla, I wanted to ask you: is there anyone on NRG that does that? Someone like an Inspired who's just constantly.
We unfortunately don't have an Inspired on our team.
He's the GOAT. He's actually the GOAT. He's actually the GOAT.
Yeah,
he is too good.
I mean, coaches will, you know, like be on you and all that, but like when it comes from like your own teammate, I think it means a lot more, and I think that's just like a trait that not every player has. Obviously, I think Inspired is like probably the only person that does it to that degree.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
I have a lot of experience working with a lot of people. But
yeah, I guess to answer your question in general, just have an Inspired on every organization. An Inspired role on every organization.
It's also like sometimes maybe too much. Like I don't want Masu to like stop believing in his mechanics and stuff because I think like his mechanics are what got him here. But if he's just gonna play for mechanics, he's not gonna become the best. Like he needs to know how to play the game and then use his mechanics in like clutch moments to actually win the game. Because I think you can't just get into a good position just by playing well mechanically. I think once you are in the good position, if you learn how to get there, then that's the timer where you should use your mechanics and actually outplay enemies like during the team fight. But how to get to the team fight, you just have to like know how to play as a team and how to perma keep tempo on the map so enemies can't have like free opportunities for everything, and whatever enemy want to do, you always are ready to trade or fight them, like whatever it is.
we do some good cop, bad cop.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm a pretty good cop. I always tell him like, it's fine, Masu, you can int, like don't worry. And, you know, like I think both of us do a really good job of that. We're just telling him like, hey, if you die in lane, no one cares. It's like we care when you are not doing your responsibility mid late and it's affecting the whole game.
Yeah.
Like just your lane, like bro, you're the one suffering. It's the same for me. It's like I have so many scrims where I go like 0-4, 0-5 in lane for zero reason, and like no one in review even like points out a single point. Meanwhile, when we play bot lane, like starts feeding in our scrims, it's like. It's literally just a highlight reel of us reviewing bot lane. Like, it's just a highlight. It's a highlight reel of us looking at bot lane. It's like, wow, like you are anything here, you guys are anything here, you guys are anything here, you guys are anything here. And meanwhile, I have like games where I'm like 0-6-0, and like not a single point was like brought up for me, like not a single one. And it's just like it just brings up like such a contrast of like. Because I don't let my deaths affect the team fight, and I will just like drop waves. I was be like, well, I'm supposed to get it, but because I went 0-5, I'm so weak that I can't. So I will just group and make sure that the flow of the game does not get like ruined because I'm feeding.
Yeah, I think I reviewed a few plays with you guys last week, and I definitely got I think the vibe of your reviews, I know I keep coming back to NRG, but I think this was another team, in my opinion, that you guys are coming off a championship win. You're coming off like a stronger performance internationally than I thought you would have. I'm sorry. So like what was review like for you guys, and really like what went wrong in season?
I think we just had very clashing of opinions, like Hui and Palfox, in terms of like just how they saw the game. I think both of them are very opinionated, and it's really hard for them to be on the same page. And you know, as a teammate, you know, it's sad that we couldn't, you know, bridge that gap and everyone be on the same page. But yeah, so reviews took, you know, an extended amount of time. You know, it's really hard to, like, we're always just arguing, like, what's the right play, like, and drafts as well. So I think a lot of issues for us to iron out. And yeah, I guess that's kind of where it stemmed from.
Actually, so for me, and this is also a personal thing because it has to do with like how I receive and give information, but like I think a certain amount of arguing is good. Yeah. And then it can cross over. So like my question to all of you is like how much arguing is too much arguing, and or how do you take into consideration how your teammates like receive and give information to people? Because a lot of times, like when you were talking about our reviews are XYZ, right? Another reason could be that bot lane might not feel as confident. And I don't know if this is true. I'm like pulling this out of my ass. But like bot lane could be not as confident in reviewing like your lane as you two are as experienced players reviewing theirs. So like what is the best balance for a team, do you guys think?
You just have to set a standard and meet it. I think that's the number one thing. You have to set a standard of this is good League of Legends. We are happy when we play at this level. And then when you play below it, you must wrestle whoever is playing below it into that standard.
Yeah, but we don't really argue too much, because like even when we are inting, if we are inting on like good way, no one really like argues about anything. Like people int and then like, I mean, we died unlucky, mechanically we misplayed, but we are like flaming, for example, Massive, he's staying for extra waves, and then I can't go into enemy jungle when I'm supposed to because he still needs to base, or like our mid laner wastes his TP in the mid game, or like he goes for extra wave on silent, and then we have to give up control around some objectives. Then I think when we actually bring up the points, but I think we didn't really have any point where we were like, pointed out and someone be like, no, but this was better. I feel like they just listen to us.
I mean, no, I do think people they argue back, but like
they argue back for like a minute and then they give up.
Yeah, give up, that's what I mean by wrestling. Like you have to wrestle there. You can't just let people do what they want to do. Like,
yeah, I think after you like tell him like, no, it's for sure not good, and then you show him so many examples why, then they're like giving up on it. I think it's really rare for Mas or Jensen to be like, or Busia to be like very stubborn on their ideas, because I feel like they just trust us, I guess. Yeah.
Also, like the other way around. Like when I mess up, this is me, not.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't mean, you know, you're right. I'm completely.
When we int, we instantly say, "I just inted. Just don't lose the game off of it." Yeah. Happens. And if they int, it's also like that. It's fine. Like if someone dies because they were trying to make some play that was good on a good timer, fine. Just spawn and we'll go again. But if you don't want to play as a team, then when the problem starts.
That makes sense. What about you?
I forgot what even the
how much arguing is too much arguing?
I guess like once you're kind of like not listening to what they're saying. Like you have to like understand their point of view as well, but like also you know, convey your point across as well. But like if you're just kind of not like listening to what they're saying. And then actually want to come to a conclusion more than just so being right, then I think that's where it gets not good.
The reason why I wanted to ask you specifically, I'll say, is because I remember there was one time when we had you and Palafox on for content, and you guys had just come off a game and you were arguing, but it seemed to be in a very healthy way. It was not a bad thing. But I remember we had to interrupt your argument because we were going live. I mean, it was very funny.
I kind of disagree. Someone's right.
Yeah, it's always someone right. I don't know.
Someone's right.
With Bwipo, we rarely had. Do we ever have like disagreement that we like?
I had one about me TPing to defend the tower.
Oh yeah, like there was one time when
I remember it.
I said that Bwipo, because Masu up his reset, and I said, okay, if he f***ed up his reset, just blow your TP to defend mid tier 1, because I don't want to lose mid tower in that game, because I feel like it's important. And Bwipo is like, but if I go top, I get some gold, and then when I come back, mid tower doesn't matter, we'll be just stronger. And that was like a disagreement, but then we looked into it, and I think if enemies just respond correctly, like he's not gonna get enough gold to make it worth for losing mid tower.
Yeah.
So that was like one time, but I had a lot of arguments with JoJo Niji when he was like playing his first splits, when I just couldn't focus. Like what he says to me, I'm like, bro, like it makes absolutely no sense, and you are still arguing with me for like 30 minutes. Like, but at the end, he always gave up and actually agreed with me. But he just made it so hard so many times that sometimes I just can't focus, and I'm just like giving my point third time, and if he still doesn't agree with me, I'm just giving up and like, sure, bro. But he always realized in the end that
honestly,
I was the one. Right.
Inspired does this thing where he just says like, when he CBAs, he just says like, I'm going to do it no matter what. I'm going to do this on stage. I'm going to do it in scrims. Figure it out yourself. And then he just like drops the mic, and it's just like, to me, again, like so much respect from my POV, because he's right. Like in those situations, he's doing the right thing. And when people want to argue to you, to convince you to do the wrong thing because it feels better for them, it's so easy to cave in and let them do it. And that is what is going to poison your team eventually. And like I said, I think there's a lot of players that, especially like resident American players that do this, and they like make their team nudge towards what they want to do in the game, rather than like looking at it from like a third-person point of view. You know, if you're playing StarCraft and controlling all 5 champions, what is the decision you're going to make? Like, where should the gold go? Where should you be fighting? Where should you not be fighting? And I think a lot of players don't want to look at it that way, and you really should be.
I would love to make a game that would do just that. Now thinking like, oh man, how do I make a League of Legends simulator that I'd be able to do that?
Yeah.
I did want to have a slight, just because we do have 2 top laners here, a slight top lane discussion, just because one thing going into, throughout these playoffs, not just in our playoffs, but also globally, there's been a massive discussion of how, like, where is top lane? After now, like, kind of, I mean, for us, a split. For other regions, they're wrapping up their regular season split. With the map changes, with the general meta, like, obviously the joke is always that top doesn't matter. Specifically coming out of, I think the discussion reached a fervor in LEC with the SK games that Irrelevant had in winter playoffs. But what do you two, like, where do you guys think top lane's at right now?
I guess I'll start. I think it does matter, like more so early mid than late. Like Smolar, for example, just ruins like every top laner. Like there's no like champ that can like fully lock or lock Smolar down, or like pretty much any AD carry. Like the bot meta is just like they were triple banning AD carries to just get like a whatever matchup just so like they can play the lane. But yeah, I think it's pretty bot skewed right now, even though there's grubs to take. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I think top lane's so broken. Like it's crazy.
I think items are OP for top lane. I think with kind of different approach, you can like either abuse the champions that build Eclipse early and Spike very early.
Yeah.
You can build like Thunder Sky into Sterax combo, and then you have like you buy so much time in fights. So you can kind of choose your playstyle. I feel like that's like nice about top lane now. I think there is no one way you can play. You can play Rambo and play full early game and like dive with your jungler. You can play Renekton and be useful in fights with your items. I do believe you can play tanks. I think Bwipo played Gragas, he's like semi-tank. I think you can pick it, and you see what happens. I think if you play well, you will be useful in team fights. So I have a feeling like you can play whatever you want top. That's how it
I've always believed the top lane is like in competitive games like a Joker. Like it's like in a deck of cards it's a Joker, in the sense of like you don't really have a job, but that is what gives you so much freedom. So in the past it would be Gangplank, or a Gangplank would be like jack of all trades. So he would be really OP, because every game you lock in Gangplank, you always have a job. But if you think of like top laners, to me, it's like you always have like really specialist champions, you know? So you have like Gwen, which is like very specialist front to back champion. You have like Renekton, which is like very specialist, single out one guy. Like Renekton is not useful unless you fulfill that requirement, which is what makes him a specialist champion, right? And like he's just really strong early game. Aatrox is like, again, like such a specialist champion where it's just like, he is so unique in the way that right now with his lethality build, he can like one-shot squishies. But he's also really good in jumping in and multi target front to back fights. So I just think that if you are willing to embrace top lane for that, and you realize like I have a certain job to accomplish, and you fulfill that role, I think you can have some of the most impact ever. Because out of any role that I really see internationally, it's like top lane is like one of the fewest, like one of the roles over my entire career where I never thought like, wow, this enemy top laner is bad. You know, like you go international, almost all top laners that go there are good. You know, like, and that to me speaks volumes because it's like the only top laner I played against that I can remember that I thought like, wow, this guy's kind of bad is Gimgoon, like internationally. Like that's the only guy out of all my years playing internationally. And he was like, wow, this guy's kind of. Every other one was like, I mean, Langx was pretty bad too. Sorry.
Don't apologize to me.
Yeah, that guy was pretty bad.
He's gonna see this.
Pretty much everyone else is like 1v9 or like really fucking good, and it's just like it proved to me like top lane always mattered. And it was just a matter of whether or not you were willing to like have the balls to pick those specialist champions and then carry the game, because usually they require you to be very strong in the laning phase. So Gangplank was like, you know, delicate. All these champions are very delicate. Like Camille is another great example. Like, you know, you mentioned no one can lock down Smolder. I think if you have the balls to slam Camille into like, for example, Renekton, if you know how to lane that, because Bin managed to make it work in season 9, season 10, I think it was season 10, right?
I mean, Wise Cam is playing it right now.
Oh, who?
Wise Cam. You should know me.
I don't know.
From IG top lane.
I don't know if he's a one trick or not, but the point is like Bin made it work in season 10 and he was legit playing both sides of that matchup, and like that's a big deal in the meta where like right now, imagine if your top laner can just leave open Renekton and pick Camille into Renekton, or like maybe enemy picks Gragas and you pick Camille. Like the point is, do you have the option to pick those specialist champions that can break a draft completely? Because like if the Smolder draft doesn't have a Tom,
yeah, I mean, I
if
feel
you
like
can pull it off,
Camille
it's
in the
like
meta
pretty
is only really like we've seen it in the LCK this late. I think it's a Gnar only.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that's like a hard winning lane. Like you can make it work.
Oh yeah,
but
I think that's like that's the beauty of top lane. It's like you just acknowledge that you don't need to win your lane because you get so many resources from existing as a top laner that like low resource top laner is still the second strongest champion in the game. That's the way I see it. It's like if I'm down 20 CS, like this game, right? I was playing against Rumble as Gragas. I'm down 20 CS. I'm still the second strongest champion in the game, and he's number 1. So everyone else who wants to fuck with me, I just murder them. It's not even close, and that's kind of the mindset I have when I'm playing scaling champions, where it's like there's no shame in being second strongest on the map. You know, like, that's still a pretty big dub. So you just make sure you don't have that guy on your screen, and then everyone else just gets owned. So that's how I see top lane. That's how I've seen it for a really long time. Which is why, like to me, when people say top lane doesn't matter, it's like not creative enough. You know, like you're just like very narrow focused on what enemy bot lane can do. Dude, enemy bot lane can't play. Like, you saw this 3-0 Kalista. I'm playing Renekton. They are CCing me for like 10 seconds in front of her. She can't even get my Sterax to pop.
True.
Yeah.
Same. Last game,
It's just like-
5-0 Zeri. What did she do?
yeah.
I mean, that was complete player. Like I think that was team gap. Like you finding the kicks into Nautilus ults.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
But like that Kalista was like a great example where it's like, I
mean, to be fair, you
really
guys
easy
had
to
a
make a big
Karma
difference.
and a Hui, so it's like really hard for Kalista to just exist.
True.
Yeah.
in general.
If they don't do the Drakes, then it's like kind of hard to end that
absolutely,
game.
yeah. I mean, they needed to pull Baron at some point.
I'm going to bring it back to LCS playoffs because we're kind of wrapping up, I guess. I want to let you guys go home
I just want to
after.
clarify, like, I just have so much respect for Inspired and how much effort he puts into it. Because, like, I was trying to figure out, like, how I could improve myself as an asset in NA especially. And when I think back of two of the players that I actually respect the most in my career, it's actually Hylissang and Inspired, because they both do the same thing, which is, like, they wrestle their teammates and they have their point of view and they get everyone to buy in.
Nice.
And I think buying into a concept of the game is so much more powerful than anything else. Anything else the staff can do, anything else the player can do individually is absolutely useless compared to getting all 5 players to buy into the same game plan, same draft, same everything. When you have that, you have a championship winning team. So
I agree.
thank you for carrying me. It's huge jungle gap, actually. Like, it's crazy.
Looking ahead, what are all your predictions? As much as you can say. Because obviously the big one is TL versus C9. I asked Jensen who he thought you guys are going to face. He said, I can't beat on C9 after we just stomped them, essentially. But it's obvious that all 3 of you think that C9 are still like a very, very dangerous team, especially with the names on that roster. So how do you see the rest of playoffs shaking out?
I don't know.
Honestly, I think that's the fun part for me. I have no idea as well. Like,
Yeah, I'm still not like super confident we are gonna win. I think we for sure have a good chance, but I'm not like it's a free win. I think no matter who we face, we'll have to still play very well to win.
As the outsider, what do you think?
I would say probably CL is going to meet you guys in the finals, and then you guys will probably win. Yeah.
We'll see, hopefully.
yeah, I think it just depends on who shows up on the day.
Yeah.
I really feel like, especially for TL and FLY, at the end of the day, Moss is like, he's undefeated in best of 5 in LCS because it's his first ever playoffs. That means that
Put that on a graphic.
You know, like, it's true, you know, and then that also brings like stress that brings up decision making. Like, I don't know, I watched Yon play Zyra Khan being completely 1v9, walking into 2 Talia Ws in 2 separate games and almost losing the game on the spot because he can't press R or flash. You know what I mean? It's like, and then he gets player of the series, and it's just like, you can do that in a competitive game and get player of the series twice, 2 separate occasions, throw the game alone? Shocking, you know? Actually shocking. Same with Smolder, like he's eating into, was it him? It was Yon, right?
Yeah.
Eating into the whole enemy team and getting one shot, like stuff like this, and it's just like, holy, we're getting paid to play like that? You know, shocking, you know, like shocking stuff. And it's like, how can I judge how good TL is when that happens? And in the same game, I'm watching them play macro, like LPL team, and they're like playing super fast, really decisive, super good gameplay. And then, 10 minutes later, they walk into a 5v5, and it's like, people are actually
of a team.
dizzy.
Yeah.
They're just
Duality of
dizzy,
team.
like completely dizzy. Same with APA, same thing. It's like, he finds ways to die, where I'm just like, how is it even possible? Same with JoJo today. Actually, exactly the same way. I was like the sniper versus Talia, just walking in melee range of a Talia ulting and just press W. I did the same. I was like, how is that possible? I was watching. How is it possible Renekton can just melee range you and W you? No E used. I'm literally 2 separate occasions this game. One, I'm just walking up to him. He's queuing me, and then he just forgets I exist. I walk up and W him, and I instantly win the team fight because we just collapse on him and kill him. And then the next one, he's Talia ulting on my face through me, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
does this guy know what my champion does? Like, did he forget?
That one was really funny to watch. Just
What I'm saying is, like, these things are happening in my games, or like in the games we're watching.
Yeah.
At the same time, there are glimpses of brilliance, which is what makes it really fun.
I mean, that's what makes League of Legends fun for me, generally.
For sure. That's why, like, I can't really judge who's gonna win, because, like, low-key, sometimes, like, I, like, body slam flash into an Alistar, miss the own, ult, nothing,
people are saying
die like a
same
total dog.
Exactly. Yeah. Like,
I'm doing it too, you know? I'm doing
Game
it
one
too.
is complete free, and we just managed to throw it because we just like.
Yeah, same. Like,
do
I'm like playing
something,
Renekton, I'm
stand
walking
up,
up mid, I'm like,
entertain.
I'm pretty sure we can just ace them with Soul and Nash, you know? Like, we have poke champs, I'm just walking up mid, I get violed, and I'm like, it's still good. And then I bait my whole team into getting quadra killed, almost lose the game. Yeah, I'm not perfect, don't misunderstand me, I'm just as bad, but wow. NA, like, it's special, like, it really is. And honestly, I love it, but I have to be real. There's some imposters, and sometimes I'm the imposter, but it's pretty impressive. Actually, it's funny because like it goes whole full circle to NA solo queue, where like players like Inspired that don't really make mistakes in Jensen, like they're not really making any mistakes in the best of fives we play in the sense of like inting, like they're never really inting. So maybe of course small things can be improved. I'm not saying they're playing perfectly, but because they're like always keeping good tempo and playing really well individually, I think that's why FlyQuest is as strong as we have been, and why we could shit on
Yeah. It
C9
seems
3-0.
like, seems like the
Nice.
team that makes less mistakes usually just wins.
Yeah, which is not always true in like other regions, I would say, because like just avoiding mistakes is not enough. You need to actually progress the game proactively.
Yeah, I think in certain regions, I do feel like even if you make fewer mistakes, it can come down to a single 5v5 team fight where the team that has made more mistakes maybe just has better hands and they're calm.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm seeing some
At
carry
that
players
point.
die in ways that are truly magical.
That's true.
Today, for example, like Berserker dying on Zeri, that was pure skill. Like the Lee Sin angles, you know, like that.
I mean,
just props.
you did find good angles. Yeah.
It was beautiful.
I love that
That's pretty
Lee Sin
good.
is back because it's just so fun to watch
But yeah, some of the
for
other
me as
deaths.
an outsider. All right, anything else you guys want to say? The general NA audience?
Honestly, I'm happy to be back playing, and it's been a lot of fun. I hope watching has been a lot of fun, because I think at the end of the day, we are entertainers. I actually consider that in the sense of like, I want to be a player that does not just like roll over and die. You know, like, I'm not gonna lie, I watch that guy play. I don't want to watch him play. Like, no offense to the guy, he's a great guy, I like him, but man, I could not get paid to watch that guy play professional league. Like, he really does not want to make the game interesting. Like, one bit.
What player do you think makes the game most interesting?
Honestly, Sniper does a great job. He actually,
Okay.
like, he's an entertainer. Like, I watch that guy, I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen. He might run it down, he might completely stomp someone. That's worth watching, you know?
What about you? Who's the biggest entertainer in your position?
I don't know. I don't really look at it as in the entertaining way. I think I'm
Okay.
not the similar way to Bwipo. I like to watch Cardion because he's perma playing well and never make mistakes. So I
Nice.
like this type of gameplay where you actually don't need to be entertaining. You are just making the best call out of every situation. And I think Cardion does it right now.
Based.
Makes sense. What about you? You can name a player here or internationally. I'm always
probably be
curious.
like Keen or Zeus. I think those are like the two best stops in LCK.
Zeus makes games interesting.
Yeah, Zeus is
He
interesting.
makes games really
He picks
interesting
Jason, has
sometimes.
no mercy. Like that is fun to watch, you know, like based. Keen is like, yeah, he's a bit more, like he likes to play the game better, more towards the making less mistakes. But I'm just thinking, you know, I don't know. People think I like hate people. I don't hate anyone, you know, like I don't hate Fudge, I don't hate Sniper. I just like to share my actual opinion of them instead of like being like, oh yeah, they're great players individually and I like them a lot. No, it's like, I think it's the most fun when you can be honest about how you feel about people on a public sense. Like APA, I love the guy, I truly do. Actually, I thought he was really, I actually thought he had a lot of potential and he was really good.
Will he close chat? You already
But, like,
tweeted that.
my lord, it's like
He
fire
said
in
no.
chats.
No, I
He
can't.
finds
giving him
ways.
shit for
I don't
chatting.
even mind
Yeah.
the chat. I don't mind the chat. It's just he finds ways to look like a complete noob. Like it's crazy how bad he looks some games, and I'm just like shocked. Like wow, APA, how
Well,
can you die there?
if you face them again, he's not going to close all chat. He told you himself. So
I mean, I don't
we'll
mind.
see
Like
it.
I think it's funny. It's just like when someone all chats to me when like they do stuff like APA sometimes pulls off. It's just funny. Like it's honestly just funny. Like I really the only time I feel like clapping back or I'm like getting triggered by it is when I'm like genuinely playing poorly myself and I'm triggered at myself for playing poorly and like him typing is like I want to like let it out on him. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to let it out on him and just call him out like, bro, you are getting completely gapped. Just turn off the keyboard, bro.
Yeah.
Like
I don't mind him typing. It's kind of funny.
it is, but sometimes when I'm playing, like for example, I was playing against TL, I was running it down, like I was level 2, I walked into the rumble and died like an idiot. Like, wow, that was special. Like that made like after a performance like that, like watching him type was like, I wanted to flame him, you know, like I wanted to flame him just to get the frustration out of my system. But I restrained myself and I tried to just be a good boy, farm my creeps, and then my jungler carried me and my mid laner. So
All right,
jungle
we'll
gap,
end it here.
cheers to that jungle
cheers,
gap.
cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers
We'll
for the
end
jungle
with
gap.
that.
Cheers to jungle gap.
Jungle Gap, let's go. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
This is a very fun episode for me. Hopefully it was fun enough for you all. And hopefully it was fun for you. See you next time.
See ya.